Did we hear anything from Lance? About-
No, he was supposed to be here tonight.
You know, I got an email from the phone that Mrs. Lane.
Is it on? Did you turn it on?
The recorder's on.
Committee members, this part of it.
Do you have the board,
Rules and procedures.
yeah. I just wanna make sure we can go with 3, I don't, whether we.
Yeah, as long as you have a quorum. You have a quorum. That's all you need.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think it's on me.
You're by default, because we both bowed out, so you're the only one.
Well, forgive me. Alright. I'm not doing what I'm doing, yeah.
Call to order for this week. And then
Call the meeting of the Utility Advisory Commission meeting to order. By stand for pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Is there any public comments to be made? No public comments? Is
Yeah.
there,
Thank you for using the microphone.
oh, well. Hey, alright. Consent agenda, is there anything anybody'd like to remove from the consent agenda? I guess we need a motion to approve the consent agenda then?
So moved.
Second. Alright. I guess moved by Barney and seconded by Brian. Alright, motion passes. Move on to old business.
Good evening. This old business, comes about while preparing the consent item for the city council. We identified some numbers that didn't make sense. So I just wanted to go ahead and, review this item, which was already, recommended by the UAC back in May. But basically, is the, consider recommendation to the city council to award a service contract to the, no, that's not, that's new business, excuse me. I'm ahead. Am I doing something wrong here? They changed the IPs this afternoon, so we're having problems with the monitors and everything else. There we go. Old business, considered a recommendation to award a supply and installation contract to Novatech and an engineering service contract to Sega for upgrading the Gardner Energy SCADA system. As a brief background, the electric utility SCADA system is used to supervise and control the 12 distribution circuits and substation transformers served by Sub 1 and Sub 3. The current system was installed in 2005 and has not been upgraded, nor the software nor the hardware. We experienced an outage and loss of data last year that affected the operation of the distribution system. Based on that, we requested Sega, there was a company originally set up the system, to review options and recommendations for a new system. Sega requested proposal from Logic and Novatech, and on May 7th, a staff report was presented to the UAC with Sega proposals. We had the Logic proposal with a total of $172,131.82, and the Novatech for $253,274. Staff requested the UAC to approve the Novatech proposal for $93,954 to replace the SCADA system, and also to award the engineering service to Sega for $59,320. A motion was carried 4-0 to move forward to forward the award contract to Novatech for that amount previously said, and also for the Sega to move forward with the Sega contract. While preparing for the consent item, I identified some numbers didn't make sense. So on June 25th, I requested a revised proposal to include commission and training and substation upgrade. If you look at the original proposal, Novatech included, in their proposal was included the screens for substation number 1. Logic didn't include the substation 1. Then on in the Logic proposal, there was commissioning included. The Novatech didn't include commission. So we got the revised numbers, and we have, for example, the Logic. If we look at the new proposal summary, proposal for installation, hardware, software, and tech support, Logic is $34,607.37. The original price, if you compare it to the previous one, was $82. That included the maintenance contract. And on the Novatech, that was not included. So there was a discrepancy between the two proposals. But at the end of the day, we have the Logic proposal has a $167,808.31 versus the Novatech with $169,060. No sense. The Logic proposal, you look at the difference, is $1,251.69 less than the Novatech proposal. Now, if we look at the annual maintenance, you'll see a big discrepancy between the Logic, which is $45,233.06 versus the Novatech, which is $14,740.05. The equipment proposed by the Novatech has numbers of years experience and is used in several municipal utilities in Kansas. So we're recommending the Novatech proposal because it meets a requirement to upgrade the current system, and the equipment is substation hardened, designed originally for the use in substations. In addition, the annual maintenance cost is considerably less than Logic's. Sega's provided engineering services to place the original system into service, has provided excellent support, and continues to support the equipment. The staff recommends that they be retained to support the new SCADA system. The project will be funded out of the electric, operating reserve fund. Staff recommendation is to approve a recommendation to the city council to award a contract to Novatech in the amount of $109,740 to provide a replacement SCADA system to the electric utility, and to award a engineering service contract to Sega in the amount of $59,320 for engineering support for the implementation of the replacement SCADA, and to fund the project from the electric operating reserve fund.
I didn't have time to go back and look at the old, the agenda in May, I believe it was, that we,
Yeah.
where we decided. But I recall that there being 3 or 4 different, proposals. So have we gone back and have we reviewed the other 2 proposals or 3 proposals that have come with this?
The only proposal we had was from Logic and Novatech.
Okay, then I stand corrected.
I think you're thinking on the transformer.
The transform, we had, 3
Okay,
proposals.
Okay. So another question, sorry to, so the only difference that I see is the 30,000 plus savings from switching to Logic to Novatech, correct?
Yeah, as far as the annual maintenance.
Okay.
That's correct.
Do you guys recall what the benefit, why we picked Logic?
Well, we picked Novatech, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah,
We picked Novatech, and we're recommending staying with Novatech. Although the difference.
So now, I'm confused on why you're bringing this to us again. If we picked Novatech,
Because the original proposal, what it was, the motion carried was for awarding a contract to Novatech for $93,954.
oh, so
With the new
numbers-
proposal, we're recommending Novatech's, system, which is $109,740.
Okay.
So it's about $15,000 more than the original, item presented to the UAC.
So that's still a savings over Logic.
Correct. If you look at the annual maintenance, there is a saving of $30,000 plus dollars.
Now, the annual maintenance isn't due with this, that's just paid every year, is that?
It's paid every year.
Uh-uh.
So the maintenance
Some-
was,
Separate, okay.
yeah,
Does that still come out of the reserve fund as well, the maintenance cost?
that will be coming out of the, not a reserve, of the, electric fund.
Oh, electric fund. Is that electric fund the same as the electric reserve fund?
The electric reserve fund, it should be the same.
There's a capital reserve fund and there's electric, basically general.
We're talking about the basic electric fund.
Okay. Because it says to fund the project from the electric operating reserve fund, so what I'm asking is, the maintenance costs are gonna come out of that fund as well?
Okay. Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't mean to step on.
No,
I'm trying to
ask
understand.
questions, 'cause we're,
Yeah, there's a capital reserve fund, and there's the electric,
Okay,
which is the, more operating fund.
okay,
there's a few funds
yeah.
Anybody have more questions or comments? All right, entertain a motion.
Make a motion to recommend to the city council to award the contract to Nova Tech in the amount of $109,740 to provide a replacement SCADA system for the electric utility, and to award the engineering services contract to Sega and Company for the amount of $59,320 for the engineering support and implementation of the replacement of the SCADA system, and to fund the project from the electric operating reserve fund.
Second.
A motion by Barney, a second by Leonard. Is it Leonard? Leonard. So, motion passes. Alright, we'll move on to new business, item 1.
Clicker. Well, I'll read it from the hard copy. New business, consider a recommendation to the city council to award a service contract to remove, reinstall, and align the combustion turbine number 2 torque converter. The current torque converter has been in service without any inspection since 1968. And over the past starts, we have observed that instead of taking 1.5 minutes, it's taking close to 10 minutes. So it's about 8.5 minutes too long than it should be. In the service report of April 19th, 2015 from Palmer Johnson is a company that repairs torque converters and is the one recommended by General Electric. They recommended that the Allison torque converter be torn down and the internal seals rings inspected. Staff recommends removal of the torque converter by Pro Energy, transported to Palmer Johnson for inspection and rebuild, and then reinstall the alignment of the unit in combustion turbine number 2 by Pro Energy. We received 3 proposals for the removal and installation and alignment. One from Pro Energy, which is $24,445, one from General Electric, $57,000, and one from Pond and Lucier for $54,494.
And
Uh,
Paul,
Uh,
yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Something to notice is that the GE proposal is only for removing and installing 1 torque converter. The other 2 is for 2. That's correct. You can see. Sorry, the Pro Energy is to remove 1, and the GE is to remove 1. So there's a big difference. And the PAL is for the installation, remove installation alignment. Pro Energy has done previous work in the gas turbines, including borescope inspections, and they're with very acceptable results. Staff recommendation is to approve a recommendation to City Council to award a service contract to Pro Energy in the amount of $24,445 for removal of the torque converter, transport of the converter to Palmer Johnson, for inspection and rebuild and reinstallation alignment on unit combustion turbine number 2.
So just to keep up with you, sorry if I interrupted.
No, go ahead.
Pro Energy is 1 torque converter.
Pro Energy, when we start looking for vendors that could rebuild the torque converter, General Electric said there's only 1. That is Palmer Johnson.
No, okay, so we have 2 torque converters, correct?
We have unit 1 and unit number 2, yes.
Okay, so this bid,
If for unit number 2.
this number is to only do 1.
Correct.
Okay, so, and then GE and PAL, or whatever I don't know, I'm just gonna call them PAL for now. GE and PAL are to do both of them.
No. The quote for GE is to do 1, and the quote from Pro Energy is to do 1. The quote from PAL is to do 2.
Okay.
So you know, if you look at the unit price from PAL will be $27,297. So it will be still more than Pro Energy.
And we don't have to pay for any of the shipping or anything like that?
That's included in the Pro Energy proposal.
But they're not, but that's not gonna cover torque converter two. That's only convert. The Pro Energy is just for one. It doesn't include number two, right?
Right. This is
And
for only
then we have
one unit.
another business item for number two.
The idea is to do number two based on the inspections and what comes out of the inspection and rebuild. We're gonna go ahead and do number one. But we need to make sure that the problem is in the torque converter before proceeding with number one unit. Each unit has a torque converter. We have two units, unit number one, unit number two.
Right, no, I got that. What I'm saying, I guess my concern would be, they take out torque converter number two.
Yep.
And they say, there's nothing wrong with it, but the torque converter number one, they come back next year and they give us a bigger price on torque converter two.
Okay, the price that Pro Energy gave us is for both for $24,445 per unit. So
Okay.
if we decide to go with unit two, it will keep the same price.
Ah, okay, that's key. Maybe I skipped over that somewhere, I apologize.
No, I was confused as well.
Don't know if I'm allowed. So on the business item two, that's gonna be just for the inspection.
This one is for inspection. And then Palmer Johnson, which is the next item, will be doing the rebuild.
It has to be inspected before it can be, just go ahead and rebuild it, because they're the same price.
The, the price for rebuilding is $23,902. That's the next item.
Oh, that's to inspect and rebuild, and doing it by two different companies.
Yeah, because the only qualified, vendor is, Palmer Johnson.
Okay, okay,
So it's a sole source.
okay.
So it doesn't matter which one of these we pick, Farmer
That's
Johnson
what we'll be doing the
has to
rebuild.
do it.
Yep.
Got it.
Thank you.
Pro Energy is a little bit.
Any more questions?
Let me read over this
I
real
don't
quick.
think so. Some intertwining going on here.
Yeah. Ready to make a motion.
I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion to recommend to the city council that Pro Energy, has this contract in the amount of $24,445 for removal of the torque converter, transportation of the converter to Palmer Johnson for inspection and rebuild and installation and there's a lot of ands, and realignment of the unit of combustion turbine number two.
Second.
I have a motion by Barney, a second by Leonard. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Barney, you in favor?
Aye.
3-0, motion passes. You know, I wanna go back and, back to the old business item, because I did skip the actual vote on that. And we had motion by Barney and second by Leonard.
Do we do that,
Well, we never actually took a vote.
do we do that on old business? I don't, let's take a
Well,
vote.
it was a motion for recommendation.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And I did skip that, so I'll take all in favor of old business item
Aye.
one?
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Motion passed.
Get the B team going.
I know, we're learning. Gotta make sure it's on the record. All right, a new business item number 2.
As previously stated, consider a recommendation to City Council to award a service contract to inspect and rebuild the combustion turbine number 2 torque converter. Again, the torque converter has been in service without inspection since 1968. Lately, we have observed that the starting time went from 1.5 minutes to 10 minutes, which is 8.5 minutes too long. And we requested Palmer Johnson to come in and inspect the torque converter, and they recommended to take it apart and rebuild the torque converter. As I mentioned before, Palmer Johnson is the only recommended or qualified vendor for rebuilding this type of converters, according to General Electric. So we received a proposal from Palmer Johnson and recommends the proposal for $23,902.48. Staff recommendation is to approve a recommendation to the City Council to award a service contract to Palmer Johnson in the amount of $23,902.48 to inspect and rebuild the torque converter for combustion turbine number 2.
Questions? Kinda went over this on the first.
Well, you said they could come out here. Is that not true? They could come out, or we have to send it to them?
Pro Energy is gonna take it apart and is gonna transport it to Palmer Johnson.
Oh, okay.
They're out in Missouri.
So, and then, but they're the only person to do this?
There's the only qualified vendor to repair or rebuild these type of converters.
So, I mean, yeah, okay. So if they're the only person, I guess my question would be,
The other one would be General Electric, but General Electric sends the torque converters to them for rebuild. So we went with that.
oh, so if we did the, okay, so if we did the General Electric over here, would that include this cost here?
Correct. General Electric would use Palmer Johnson to rebuild the
Yep.
torque.
Right, so if we went back to business item number 1, and we used General Electric, would this 23,000 be included in that price?
No, it won't be.
Oh, okay, that's
So
what,
be the
I was like, that's a whole
added
new ball of
together.
wax.
57,000 plus the 23,000.
Okay, I got you,
You're
all right,
talking about,
I'm
Cutting out
clear.
the middleman.
Okay, I'm clear now.
More than $81,000.
Okay,
And this price they gave, that assumes we get the core charge back,
Correct.
and that's likely? Okay.
it's old.
So-
You gotta open it up to find out.
Yeah, right. So this could be $7,000 more.
So we don't need to include the court charge in the total,
We just,
the court charge doesn't need to be included in the total recommended amount.
If you go to the second page, in my email,
Mhm.
you'll see that it says, keep in mind that the price includes the $7,300 core charge that you will get back if your core is in good shape.
All right. So we'd go down to 15,000.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Okay.
It could be better than what.
oh, so this includes the core charge, okay.
A core charge.
Okay.
A core charge, but I can't tell you that the core is going to be any good.
Yeah.
We're assuming it's not coming back.
So we're recommending the approval of enough to cover that,
Right.
even if it came
Okay.
back at
Okay.
0. All right. Okay.
I'm satisfied.
Okay, any other questions? All right, have a recommendation or a motion?
Motion to recommend the city council to award a service contract to Palmer Johnson in the amount of $23,902.48 to inspect and rebuild the torque converter for the combustion turbine number 2.
Second.
Motion by Lerner, second by Barney. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed. All right. On to new business item number 3.
Agenda item, consider a recommendation to the city council to award a service contract to Lutz, Daly and Brain LLC to replace the combustion turbine 1 and 2 electromechanical generator protective relays with a currently installed General Electric G60 generator protective relay mounted in the control panel. The current relays we have that are electromechanical, they have to be calibrated on a very, once a year, and they've been in service since 1968. Some of the relays are out of service, and like I said, the calibration is required at least once a year. A couple years back, I don't know when, Turner Energy purchased these digital General Electric relays, the G60s. They were installing the panel, but never connected. So we have them sitting there, we're not doing anything. So we received proposal from Lutz, Daly and Brain, EPS Engineering and Design, Sega and MKEC Engineering for the to do the engineering and wiring so we can use the new relays. The Lutz, Daly and Brain proposal for the project is $33,900, EPS $37,900, Sega $67,000, and MKEC $98,000. The cost of the project is available from Substation 1 Improvement Project, Project EL 14-02. When I got here, I saw the project, the EL 14-02, that basically is looking at replacing the protective relays on substation number 1. So I said, what about the generators? So it is my recommendation that we should do both, and there's money to do both. There's no sense doing the upgrade on substation protective relays if we're not going to do anything on the generator. I think the generator, like I said, they're electromechanicals, they need to be replaced. And we already have the equipment. It's a matter of doing the engineering to do the connections and the systems. So staff recommendation is approve a recommendation to City Council to award a service contract to Lutz, Daly and Brain LLC in the amount of $33,900 for services for replacement of the electromechanical relays for CT1 and 2 with existing G60 relays.
This is just for the engineering.
Yes. The equipment is already purchased many years ago.
And then we know it's good? Okay.
Any other questions?
Make a motion to recommend to the city council that we go with the contract with Lutz, Daly and Brain LLC, the amount of $33,900 for replacement of the electromechanical relays for CT1 and 2 with existing G60 relays.
Second.
Motion Barney, second Lerner. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed. New business item number 4.
This is something different for you guys. Consider a recommendation to the City Council to award a service contract to install a new lift station to replace the current Bull Creek number 5 lift station. The Bull Creek lift station was installed in the late 1970s at its current location, at the city's sanitary sewer plant. In 1997, it was converted to a lift station after the new water treatment plant was constructed on 159th Street. As it stands today, the lift station needs to be replaced. The pumps are unable to effectively and efficiently pump the wastewater. The ductile iron piping, the floor housing pan, the check valves, and the pumps have outlived their life cycles. Staff is currently spending more than 10 to 15 hours a week to repair and maintain this facility. The size of the lift station wet well limits the type of lift station that can be installed. Staff searched multiple options and found the Smith and Loveless lift station to be the most logical and cost-effective choice. Staff have received a proposal from Ray Lindsay Company for the Smith and Loveless pump station and recommends approval of the proposal in the amount of $32,146. Staff recommendation, approve a recommendation to City Council to award a proposal for the new Bull Creek number 5 lift station, replace from Ray Lindsay Company in the amount of $32,146. This item was not budgeted, so that's why we're bringing this item to the UAC.
Was or was not?
Was not.
Okay.
It's a failure.
I mean, the necessity of this,
We need to do it within the next 2 or 3 weeks.
oh,
Yeah, 10 to 15 hours a week, huh? We're gonna pay for it shortly anyway, right? You guys have any questions on it?
that's straightforward.
If there's no questions,
I make a motion to approve a recommendation to City Council to award the proposal of the Bull Creek number 5 lift station replacement from Ray Lindsay Company in the amount of $32,146.
Second.
motion Barney, second Learned. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes. Is there any other pumps? I mean, is this something that's a normal?
We have 21 lift stations in the city.
So are we going through those then and making sure that those are all?
They are a very high maintenance item, but when you're building a wastewater treatment plant, it's probably the cheapest way, or probably the low-cost option. The best way of doing this is by putting a gravity-fed piping instead of lift stations. So that's very costly because there's a lot of infrastructure, so the quick and easy way is to put lift stations.
We would have to rebuild the city.
Now, there's plans to eliminate some lift stations in the near future, but there's, the price is, they're very expensive.
What's the life cycle on those, on the lift stations?
Well, this one has been in service, I would say,
35 years.
Wow.
well, supposed to be 35, but there is a lot of maintenance required to make them keep on going.
Yeah. All right, so, on to discussion item number 1.
Okay, the item is, Johnson County Rural Water District Number 7 Customer Exchange Agreement. And this is more of a FYI more than anything else. At the November 3rd, 2014 City Council meeting, the City Council authorized the City Administrator to enter into a customer exchange agreement with Johnson Rural Water District Number 7, JO7. As part of the agreement, 31 customers are being transferred from the JO7 to the city. The current water ordinance does not address rates for customers acquiring through customer exchange agreement. So a section has been added to the chapter 13.15.010 water rates to address the rate charge to the water usage acquired through the customer exchange agreement. If you have any specific questions, I have Amy Foster here that she can explain more details if you need to.
I haven't, I don't know the cost currently for a regular resident, but what is the difference in?
Those are the current rates.
Those are the
These
current.
are the current costs. The reason why we're asking for this rate is because these 31, residential customers are going to be outside the city limits.
They're not within corporate limits.
And at this time, when they're not going to be annexed in. And so, based on the two rate classes that we have now, they would qualify for the outside, which is much more costly to them. And so we are asking that because we are gaining them through an exchange agreement, with Rural Water 7, that we're not penalizing them for being outside by charging them that rate.
So these are the same rates that,
That
for
they're
current
paying inside
residential?
the city limits.
Okay.
Do we have to make that an amendment to our,
Yeah,
I mean, we can't just say, all right, we got you.
so
You come on in and.
Now, this goes directly to the city council, it doesn't come through recommendation from us?
That is correct, because it is a rate structure. And so the city council, the governing body, develops the rates.
So electric rates and water rates, we're only gonna be notified of those? We're not
That is
gonna
my-
participate in,
And so it would be a discussion, that's why we're like bringing this, but yes, that it would not have to come from a recommendation from the commission, just
We don't recommend the rates.
how we.
But we can recommend that it's a part of our, I mean, if this ever we'll probably annex them fairly quickly. I don't know where this is.
well,
And they're actually kind of scattered.
Okay.
Are they currently getting a bill from Gardner?
They're currently getting billed from Rural Water 7, have the list of assets here.
So when does this rate, so
When did they start getting?
November 3rd then, we started providing them water?
No.
Oh.
The agreement between Rural Water 7 and the city was signed in November.
Okay.
Part of the agreement was they took 9 of our customers. And so that 9 customer transitions have taken place. We went out, pulled our meters, they put their meters in. They are now Rural Water 7 customers. These 31 customers, based on the agreement, we have to have that in place by December 31st.
Okay.
And so, we will actually go out, Rural Water 7 will take their water meters out, we will put ours in. And in those discussions is when it came about that, what rate class, for the structure that we currently have, where they would fit in. And so this will be by ordinance, that it goes to the city council, that we add that. Once it's either approved or disapproved, we will start communicating with these customers to let them know that we are taking them over. Meter technician staff, so my staff are going to be the ones responsible for doing those changeouts with Rural Water 7. So I've asked them to push it, and not wait till December, November, when there's a possibility of snow, because based on the agreement, it has to be completed by December 31st.
These residents know that this is coming?
We have not started that communication from the city. I do not know if they know that from Rural Water 7. The agreement does state that we will do the communication. And so, with not being able to tell them what their rates are going to be, we don't want to start those communications yet. So this is scheduled to go July 20th, I believe, before the city council. And then once we have that, and then we're working with water line maintenance, so that we can have a time frame, so that we can schedule it with them as well, and when we'll be out there to shut their water off and switch that meter out. We'll do 1 meter at a time, so it's not like they'll be out for a day, or it'll be a meter out, meter in, switch over. But once we have this part done, then we'll start the communications with the customers. The majority of them are on Hy-Vee Drive and, West 167th Street, a few on 159th Street. They are all residential customers, 2 on Waverly.
By the new oil wells.
Yeah,
What's that?
by the new oil wells.
A few of them.
Don't get that started again.
So sorry if you got more information on it. I'm curious about the ordinance change. Now, didn't we do a recommendation for change of the ordinance for the rates
Nope.
a few months ago, or was that an FYI?
Yes, very good, CPA.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying, but it was the ordinance that has the rates in it. I thought we did a recommendation, or was that just an FYI thing too?
No, that was not. And the difference there was, what we were putting in was, how, we didn't actually adopt a rate, a dollar figure. We changed wording, for the, renewable energy rate calculations. We talked about that. And then the power cost adjustment, and that you guys would look at that when there was consideration, for the base rate change, but not for the power cost adjustment that's calculated each month. And so those were actually not actual rate structures for billing. And so.
So when the
No,
base,
do you have more than that? No.
so when the base rate and the other rates come to needing adjustment, which we already know they do now, that goes directly to the city council and not through recommendation from us?
If they're approving it, that's my understanding. And again, I'm not as,
That,
I
you're
can say
correct,
it on
those
the
do. This, that, from what I understand from this is new customers. So we don't wanna penalize
this
these
is-
31 customers. So we're giving them
Same rate.
the
Yeah.
same rate that you and I pay.
I have no problem with
Oh,
giving the
okay.
same rate. My concern is this is going into the ordinance that contains the rates, and and basically bypassing us on any consideration of any of these rate changes as being notified that it was changed, as opposed to coming to us for recommendation for the rate change to include these customers in the ordinance. You know, you
Oh,
know what
so-
I'm saying?
so when
I
it
thought,
says-
to me, this should have come to us and said, we need to include these customers in the things, and here's what we, think you ought to do, and here's the rates we ought to do, and then we did a recommendation that went to the city council from there.
Right, I understand
And
what
that's
you're
what
saying.
I'm questioning, why that goes directly to the city council, and if that's the same with the wastewater rates and the electric rates, that any rate changes or base rate changes would go directly to the city council and bypass us completely.
that they can do that without the recommendation. And again, I am not the one that said that, but I think
Well,
it goes back to the bylaw of the ordinance change when they switched with the utility advisory commission.
Yeah.
And I could be mistaken, and I know I don't have that.
I'll have to-
here.
I'll-
Yeah, we'll look it
Yeah.
up.
Yeah, definitely.
Any other?
Are these we're not penalizing them by making them pay the out of area, but are they at all being, I don't know if the word's penalized, but are they gonna be paying more with our rates? I mean, is this gonna?
Oh, you mean from 7 to us?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure they will.
Actually, I ran the numbers for an average residential customer of 5,000 gallons. And so currently where rural water setting now, based off their website, a customer with 5,000 gallons would have been paying $45.88 for their water. On the inside rate, they will pay for 5,000 gallons, $43.40. And outside will be $63.30 for the same 5,000 gallons of water.
Wow.
And so it would be with this rate that we're proposing, then they would save $19.90 on average a month if they were 5,000 gallons a year.
And they'd be saving $2 versus their current bill, and that's if they're under 6,000 gallons.
Correct.
Didn't we pay $175,000 for those customers or something?
And again, I read through the agreement, and heard little scuffles on it, but, I believe it was a contract that originated in 2008
Mhm.
that had a much higher dollar price for whatever, that original contract was for. And so instead of paying, I believe, almost $100,000,
Well, I know it was,
we paid that fee and did this exchange and took them because they didn't wanna maintain the line anymore. And so, they wanted us to take these 31 customers, and so that was part of the agreement. So it saved the city money, and we will gain the 31 customers, and then that service area as well, says in the growth. And I don't know what the growth plans are, but.
One final question, and I'm sorry, but, so if, let's say they go to the city and the customers don't wanna come inside the city, they don't have a choice in the matter, right? So I guess my statement would be, why are we procrastinating on getting these meters changed so that we can get that money coming in?
And I think it's more, the process is coming. We
Okay.
wanna make sure our lines are all ready, so we're in connection with the water line maintenance for the connection. And then part of the agreement as well is that we communicate with the customers. And so, we probably started these talks, for these 31 customers, actually early June. And so we are, working to try to get it in place and get everything kinda ironed out so that we can make it a clean sweep for the customer and take them on and be ready for them and make it an easy transition on their part.
Is there wastewater go through our system? And are they billed for that?
They are currently, from my understanding again, is that they are not on a public sewer system.
Okay.
And so,
Like on some.
whether that comes eventually or not to them, I'm not sure,
Okay.
but at this time, there's no wastewater charges involved.
Okay. Any further questions? All right. On to discussion item number 2.
Utilities 2016 Capital Improvement Plan. In 2014, the city of Garner requested Burns and McDonald perform an electric, water, and wastewater utilities assessment to benchmark the current operations and facility conditions and to identify high-level recommendations for future improvements. For 2016, the following capital improvement plan are based on the Burns and McDonald assessment and staff recommendations. Starting with the first one, Transformer 1 replacement, that's an ongoing project, but there's still money to be spent in 2016. The substation 12.47 breaker and protection replacement, again, is a project ongoing, but there's money for 2016 to spend. Then we have a replaced gas regulator. That's each gas turbine has a gas regulator that allows the flow of gas into the turbines. And it was a recommendation to replace those gas regulators. Then we have the general control upgrade. Over the past several years, the control system of the generator, there's been a lot of changes, modifications, and we need to establish a baseline in CA. Where are we? Because there's a lot of changes made, and we have had many turnovers, and we would like to establish a baseline and determine what's the current condition of the control systems. So we have money to do that next year. The other item is the fuel regulator upgrade. The current regulator is hydraulic. They're make now electronic regulators, so we're looking into replacing the 2 regulators with a new version. Then we have plans for acquiring a land for a future substation number 4. There's an overhead distribution line at the Parma area, so the these CIPs to rebuild the distribution line
They're gonna rebuild it overhead or to bring it up?
overhead. I asked Bruce Baldwin about going underground, and it will be too expensive to do that. Because there's a lot of water lines and sewer lines, so
Yeah.
we had, the cleanest way will be overhead. And we have money to do that. Then unit number one, the starter is a diesel start generator or engine, so there's plans to rebuild the engine. Presently, there's a noise coming out of the engine, so we have put monies to an inspection and rebuild the engine if necessary. Then also, we have a vibration, we bought, again, we have the equipment purchased, we have the vibration monitor, sensors, but they're not installed. So we requested money to do the engineering for the installation of this system that we already have. Then we had the torque converter rebuilt for unit 1 and 2, scheduled for 2016, but we're gonna do it ahead of schedule and do it this year. So we have the money for this year now. The next items are with the water. Got the wastewater treatment plant gravity main replacement, Washington to Madison. That's replacing the main collection line. That is Public Works, but more than likely all the collection and distribution lines, so it's in my budget now. The other item is for the wastewater treatment plant south lift station storage tank construction. Right now, there's a lot of wastewater to the lift station, and we're almost to the limit. So the idea, which is a short-term fix, is to put a tank for any additional wastewater.
Where is this?
That's south of I-75 and Gardner Road. By the Nike Elementary School, I guess.
Yeah.
It's probably about 200 yards from there. The other one is, which is also a high expense, is the replacement of the ultraviolet system at the wastewater treatment plant. We use at the Kill Creek wastewater facility ultraviolet as a disinfection process before it goes out. So that currently we're spending a lot of man hours, and the bulbs, each bulb is about $900. So we're spending a lot of money in replacing bulbs and having the equipment out of service. So that's a recommendation from Burns and McDonald.
Gonna replace it with another UV system or?
Another, probably a more efficient and less maintenance.
And this goes in a tank?
No, it goes in the, on the line going out, the UV light is in the actual inline, it's in the line itself.
Oh, okay.
So the water goes by, you get the ultraviolet.
Oh, okay. And that's $2 million?
To replace the whole system.
Okay, sorry. I just got sticker shock.
And that, that's an estimate that we got from Burns and McDonald, so it could be
Okay.
less.
Yeah, I got a question on that real quick. Does that matter, the volume passing through it it's a time thing, right? So it might last for a month. It's not 10 million gallons, it's a month's worth of time that it's not the amount of water it treats that it disinfects, is it?
Is the amount of water disinfects.
In other words, if we have a big storm and all the water goes in there and we rush, 20 million gallons in a few days over it, that's, the UV system works off of a time thing, so it'll last for a month, not the amount of water that actually.
It's at the effluent, so my understanding is right at the effluent before it goes out.
Yeah, I didn't know what the lifespan of it was. Are the bulbs, like I said, do they last for a month versus?
I don't have that information.
Versus just affecting so many gallons of water?
I don't have the information, I'll be glad to provided.
I'm just curious on that.
Don't have the answer right now. I know they're very expensive, the light bulbs. The UV bulbs, sorry. Then the other item is to paint downtown underground tank interior. We have $100,000 for that. Then at the Hillsdale Water Treatment Plant, we have 3 raw water pumps. They're very, again, high maintenance. We just had a contractor go in and replace the guide rails. And this CIP is to replace the entire raw water pumps with variable speed drive pumps.
That was from Burns McDonald too, right?
The next one, there is a, let's see if I can pronounce this, sodium permanganate that is used at the intake for odor control. And right now, we have a small tank, probably about 1,000 gallons. So the idea is to put a bigger tank because there is a safety concern. Is a recommendation from Burns McDonald. So the idea is to put a larger tank so we won't be exposed as frequent with that agent. And the last one is rebuild 2 high service pumps. Right now we have 3 pumps. One was installed probably 8 years ago. The other ones, they're the original pumps. So you have 2 options: replace them or rebuild them. So we opt to go ahead and rebuild the pumps.
Did we already do the filter? Didn't Burns McDonald recommend a filter check or a?
Doesn't mean a filter. You have then 2 options. You can replace the filter or have somebody do an inspection and tell you need it, or it can last another couple of years.
Yeah, did we already do that?
So we're in the process of, we're waiting for 2 more bids for the inspection. And the inspection will tell us if we need to spend the money or not. That should be done within the next few weeks.
Any questions on?
So, yeah, and I'll give it to you after but this was like, all of these bids are, so we had Burns and McDonald come in and say, this is everything what we need.
This is everything we need based on the assessment. Yep.
So, the project description is stuff that you guys say we need, not Burns and McDonald.
No, the project description is, I'll probably say 80% to 90% came from them.
Oh, okay. My concern is Burns and McDonald is in it for making money, and if we say what?
They only wrote a report on that, so it's directly.
And there's 3 reports, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they went through all the systems, the waterways.
But that was pre-me.
Yeah, I don't know how long ago it was.
It was early this year.
Ago, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
February, they came and did
And
their.
Okay.
basically they went through and checked everything, and then they just made.
Oh, okay.
Not necessarily for them to do it, but just recommendations on.
They are capable of.
Right, well, I guess my concern is that they're in it like everybody to make money, and they're saying that we need all this stuff. And I'm looking at the 3rd column with saucer eyes saying we can't afford this. So, in reality, I guess what I want from you is your list of what we need and not Burns and McDonald's.
Okay, there's a meeting next week. I'll be meeting with them and review what they're proposing.
Okay.
Because, for example, the fuel regulator upgrade or the gas regulator valve, we personally don't think we need to change that.
Right, and that's what I'm saying, is I want a list coming from
Yeah,
you.
Okay, but that's what they recommended.
Right.
We need, I will sit down with them, have a discussion, and we'll make a final recommendation.
Not saying I don't trust their work, I'm just saying they like to make money too.
For example, I was at the Hillsdale Water Treatment Plant, and the bulk tank at the intake, talking with the operator, said that we don't need it. So, there's a potential savings there.
Goes to my, sort. Got it. Next.
Any other question? All right, discussion item number 3.
Review the 2015 year-to-date quarterly electric outage report. In the second quarter of 2015, electric staff responded to 14 outage, 8 caused by equipment problems, 2 caused by animals, 1 caused by a tree, 2 were customers shut off in error, and 1 cause was unknown. The average overall response time was 14 minutes, and the average length of outage was 1 hour and 7 minutes. Staff recommendation, review 2015 year-to-date quarterly electric outage report. If you look at the report, at the bottom of the page, or at the end of the table, you have the a year-to-date numbers. If you look at the average, the response time average was 15 minutes. The average was 1 hour and 5. Average in a work day, you can see where the response is a lot quicker, 7 minutes. The outage was 1 hour and 18 minutes. And in average, using both is 14 minutes and 1 hour and 7 minutes.
Yeah.
Can you expand on the customer shut off in error?
Let me see, I have a,
They got the wrong house at
2 of them.
main breaker.
I thought there was only one.
There's 2 of them on there.
Are you okay if I answer that? Are you okay if I answer that?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. One of them was actually a customer move. He was moving in, actually happened to be one of the new police officers. And, the work order didn't get completed. And so it was after 5 o'clock when he contacted us that he didn't have utilities. And so, the electric after hours guys went out and turned him on. The other one was a payment that was made on a shut-off night, that was made online that we missed. And so we contacted them. We were able to pull it up, and either the customer had made the payment before 6 o'clock, and so, Garden Electric was not sure. But that's what the.
I've just never seen that on the board.
We hope it doesn't happen a lot.
Yeah,
I have
yeah.
two. I'm like, oh, what am I doing here tonight? 2. Oh, so.
Usually it's birds and squirrels.
Any other questions? Discussion item number 4.
Project updates. We're still working on the specification for the replacement of the 161 kV breakers at substation number 1. Also working on the specs for the replacement of circuit breaker 12.5 and also the associated protection relays with that equipment. What else? John, do you have any more that you can add?
Let's see, we're working on combustion turbines. We're going to probably start up one of the, we have started and run both combustion turbines for 4 hours each last month. We'll be starting up one of them here next week. The number of projects we're working on there, clean things up. We determined that there were some high voltage bushings that were stored out in the substations in some crates that were rotting, and we've been able to replace those into new crates and put them into a Connex, given that the cost of these high voltage bushings is something we have to take care of. That's about it.
questions for electric? All right, so project update, water.
In water, we're presently working on the, as I mentioned, the media filter. We're gonna, and like I said, we have two options. One is replace it, because it's time to replace it. The second option, which is the one we're pursuing, is to bring somebody to do an inspection, and based on the inspection, see if we need to replace it, or we can go another 1 or 2 years. The other project we're working on is, we have two settling ponds at the Hillsdale Water Treatment. What we do every year is we clean one of them, so, let's say number 1 was cleaned last year, number 2 needs to be cleaned this year. So we have the bids, opening today, and we'll be awarding that work to to review the bids, and we'll be awarding that hopefully next week. It's about $48,000 to do the cleanup.
Do the cleaning. Is that where they replace the, maybe I'm thinking of wastewater, where they replace the clay on the bottom? Is that
No.
wastewater?
No, that's probably wastewater.
Any questions on water? Number 6, wastewater.
The project, there's $110,000 in the budget to upgrade the SCADA control system at the wastewater treatment plant. We asked Kruger, which is the original designer for the controls, and they gave us a referential budget of $187,000. They are out of North Carolina, so a lot of that amount is travel time and per diem. So we're trying to find a local company that can give us that can look at our system and do recommendations on what things needs to be replaced. I think we can do it for 110
On the SCADA system?
on the wastewater treatment plant, yeah.
Now that's different than, that's a different complete system than the other
Yeah.
one. You can't.
They're independent.
SCADA still though, right?
Well, supervisory control and data acquisition is what SCADA stands
Okay.
for. So
It's not,
like clean.
your wastewater and your electric aren't touching each other. Yeah. They just have the same control.
How the overflow tanks and everything do with all the storms? I mean, are we still overflowing?
We haven't had any problems this week.
Last storm that came through, I didn't know.
No, I think we had like, close to 4 million gallons additional due to the storm.
Due to the storm? Watering.
Saturated.
And we have
4.1. Peak flow last week was 4.1.
4.1.
Okay. Any other questions on that? On to any other business?
Yeah, there's a consent item that will be presented to the city council, and I didn't have time to put it on the, so you get?
Oh,
I just saw that. Consent item number 4, I think is what.
I was like, oh, I thought we already did that, so I thought he was missing it.
Yeah, it's more of a housekeeping issue than numbers. When he was presented to the Utility Advisory Commission, the project number was wrong, so we
I give-
changed that
he's
to,
got two now.
so it's 14 EL Electric 01 instead of 14 EL 02. Then the actual cost estimates, we're reflecting the actual cost of the transformer. Originally was, I think, $1 million? No, $900,000, I believe. So the numbers reflected here are the current numbers, because we already purchased the transformer, Then we already awarded the engineering to Sega for 20,000, and also the installation to Hewitt for 26,500. So I just wanna give you a more of a heads up that we have updated the numbers, but the recommendation still is to go with Hewitt.
Anything else? Guess we, motion to adjourn?
Well, this was part of the consent.
No, I think this is just informational. This is
Information.
consent for
Oh,
the
this is
city council.
City council.
Yeah, the number, like I said, there is a more of a housekeeping, the numbers presented to the UAC were different, so I just wanted to show the new number. But doesn't change the outcome.
Right. Make a motion to adjourn?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dwayne, who motioned it?
Yeah.
Well, oh, Barney motion, learned.
The electricians going to your door, that's.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
They-
thank you, they really did appreciate it.
They are.
So, I saw the city of your door today, and they talked about the cancellations, and so they stepped right up to give Gardner kudos for stepping in and cleaning them out, so.
Very good.
You need instruction.
I didn't know.
I don't call them, but,